They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
On the other side of the field for the visiting Raiders, it's been perfection so far. They come in here unbeaten at 14-0.
And just 2 wins away from doing something only 2 teams have ever done. But the most important thing for them now is to make it to the postseason in one piece.
So here come the Bills on offense for the first time. They'll be led out by their highly decorated quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
And he ought to have a lot of pep in his step after last week's performance because he did exactly as you want him to play if you're a coach. 3 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, which usually means you're making a lot of right decisions out there.
And got him the win. Rodgers now on first down. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down. First carry for LaShawn McCoy. He only got a couple on that one, so not a ton of help. They'll have a 3rd and 8 forthcoming. Rodgers going to throw. And that is incomplete.
Even the greats in this game, and he certainly qualifies as one of them, they're going to have trouble if they continue to throw into double coverage.
He better be careful. Throwing into too much double coverage might have a couple of them picked off. They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. This is taken at the 23. A tremendous return there, 39 yards. And the Raiders will have a short field to work with as they take over. Really nice starting field position here for the offensive unit. First down. Oh, he's going to air it out right away. And that one falls incomplete. Looked like he might have had position there, but he couldn't hold on at second down. Offense still needing 10 yards. Second down. Here's the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 4 on the ground there. They're now left with 3rd and 6. Throwing his car on third down. And he's going to go down. They get to him back at the 40. Robert Kindici in there to get him for sack number 9 now on the year. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
That just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
They'll go for it. It's Carr. And this is caught. Amari Cooper. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. Amari Cooper, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Raiders have taken the early lead. Wow, talk about a big fourth down conversion for the score. Defensively, how do you let that happen?
I think you start with the offense, and you give them credit for going for it and having that type of, well, let's face it, audacity. But defensively, I think you're right on target, partner. There's no way something like that's supposed to happen in that situation. You're supposed to be able to shut that down and get the ball back for your own team. Instead, they give up not just a big play, but a touchdown.
And now out come the Bills. And the last drive, the first drive for them, not very good. 3 and out. What do they go to here?
Well, you don't look down at your play sheet and say, this is what the problem is. Now let's find out who my playmakers are. Get the ball in their hands, and maybe the offense will move a little bit better.
Sometimes it's more important to get it to the right people rather than dialing up the right number.
Exactly.
Or the right play, yeah.
That too. I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
On second down, it's McCoy. The numbers last week for Shady McCoy. 15 carries, 67 yards.
And their success running the ball in the previous game has to give them a lot of confidence, but they also understand going against a top 5 rush defense means you have to have a lot of offense in your game plan. Misdirection, counters, power game, maybe even some quarterback run to take the heat off of the running back.
2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 10 yards, good enough for a Buffalo first down.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
And this one caught by Dez Bryant. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Buffalo touchdown. Dez Bryant, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Bills are an extra point away from tying the football game. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, I'd be in practice sessions, and I'd hear 9 from the receivers. That meant fly route, go. Uh-oh, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
The Raider offense heading out as we take a look at the playoff race in the AFC. And the final 2 weeks, just like a formality pretty much, they're going to be the #1 seed. But there is the matter of that perfect record, 14-0 right now. How might that change how they approach these next 2 games?
And I think what it does is it forces you to come together as a team and as an organization and say, okay, what are we really trying to accomplish here? And what's the best way to reach those goals? For some teams, the best way is to stay focused, stay locked in, go for a perfect season, and then take that open week to rest and heal up before the playoffs begin. For others, okay, we've got it locked in. Let's start to tamp it down a little bit. Get these guys rested and ready to go. All depends on your organization. I think most players would tell you, let's go for the perfect 16-0.
Yeah, I think the fan base, they would usually say that as well, wouldn't they?
They certainly would. The hard part, though, is if you get beat along the way, we should have rested the guys.
Exactly.
You know how it works.
And the play clock's running down. From the gun now on third down. Carr got a man. It's Ross, complete. He's still barreling through. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. A big play there. His 6th touchdown of the season. And the Raiders have taken the lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Buffalo offense now as they get set to take over here. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
And Bryant's got it over the middle. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you...
Under pressure, and he'll go down. They'll sack him on what ought to be the final play of this first quarter. Here's Bradley Pinion now. On for his 2nd punt. He'd take a repeat of his first. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. Now the Oakland offense heading back onto the field to take over. And right now they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
Hoping now to get back in the end zone on his 4th possession. And he stopped immediately there. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. So nothing there that time, and maybe you need to look to the O-line. They weren't able to create any space.
No, they weren't, and you know as well as I do, as many offensive line coaches we've ever met, I think that'll be addressed loudly when those guys get to the sideline.
And they're usually loud and big. Gets this to the 24 for a gain of 4.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but I think you got to continue to try and run it and try and keep the defense honest.
You mean or else they'll just sit back, dare you to throw it on every down?
Yeah, you get your quarterback hit a lot that way, too.
On 3rd down, Carr throwing the out route incomplete. That's Ross. Well, he's taken down, but not before picking up the first thanks to a flashy little spin move. And the play goes for 19 yards, gives him a new set of downs.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. Tough running there. That's a hard-earned 4 yards.
Yeah, those are the unsung kind of runs. They don't fill up the stat sheet, but they do set you up in good position on 2nd down.
They stay on the ground, but this time it's Elliott. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. They'll get 6 on the play, and it's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. Back to Buffalo after this. They'll try and run for it. Here's Hill. It's an 8-yard pickup and leads to a new set of downs.
That, quite simply, is Jeremy Hill. A very powerful, compact back.
He's always been that. Even back at LSU, that's where he honed that skill, right?
Love to run between the tackles and take the contact as well as dish it out.
A first down carry by Elliott. Room here to run. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Give him 12 yards that time and an Oakland first down.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
Now a first down carry. It's Hill. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. Jeremy Hill, touchdown number 15 of the year. And the Raiders add on to their lead. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here in the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
Now Tre'Davious White on the return. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Back onto the field now comes the Bills offense. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Now Rodgers throwing on second down. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
The one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown them a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after them. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. On third down, here's McCoy. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. Now whistles, and the Raiders are going to signal for a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Here's Bradley Pinion now as he's on to punt for Buffalo. He's been a busy man here this first half as he gets it away. This will be fielded at the 17. That's going to go in the books as a 55-yard punt. Well done. And the Raiders will take over now, 1st and 10. And a look at Jeremy Hill as he heads back out there now. He's up over 1,200 yards now on the season. Had a touchdown on that last drive as well. Things continuing to trend in the right direction for this offense, but specifically, Charles, this running game.
And it all comes back to one word, doesn't it? Cohesion. Because you have to have that. Center, guards, tackles, tight ends. Some of the wide receivers being involved. Maybe a lead runner at times. Maybe a fullback. But all in all, those X's and O's on the grease board that look so nice, that turns into a jumble in real life. And these guys have to know what to do.
And the Bills are going to get him as he goes down. And now the Bills are going to stop it as they call a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. On third and long, it's Carr. He's going to let this one go deep. And got his man complete. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. A big play there in the final seconds of the first half. And the Raiders add 6 to their lead.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. This one fielded at the 5. And the D-line pinching together, must be expecting the run. And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. And now a timeout defensively after that first down play. So they're going to make this offense sweat out half number 1. And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. Happy holidays, Larry. Your gift? Take the halftime show off, partner. We've got some football to get to. So both teams have their marching orders, and we'll get going again here in quarter number 3. This is taken just shy of the 10 here. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. Out comes the Raiders offense. They'll go on offense first to start quarter number 3. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. On second down, Elliott. And he's got some space here. Ezekiel Elliott going to take it the distance. And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. Ezekiel Elliott, his 19th touchdown now on the season. And the Raiders add on to their lead. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Out come the Bills as we take a look at the playoff race in the AFC. And with the final fortnight of games upon us, teams jockeying for position. Some of these games really starting to take enormous importance, as they always do this time of year.
I like how you use fortnight.
Hey, you're impressed, don't you?
I am impressed. That means 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That does.
But how about exactly what you're talking about? Going down the stretch, how much importance is placed on these games? Look, everyone talks about every game's important. When you get to this time of year, maybe that importance gets quadruple, and that's where we are right now, to see who can make their last run, their last push to get into the playoffs.
To throw is Rodgers. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Khalil Mack in there yet again. What else is new as he continues to rewrite the record book in single-season sacks. And that sack certainly just strengthening his candidacy for Defensive Player of the Year. You think he's got that one in the bag yet?
I'm not willing to vote quite yet just because I want to wait until the season's over, but he is really tracking towards it. Just look at all the great plays we've seen from him throughout the season. Strength plays that you referenced there, as well as agility plays. Yeah. They just have not found a way to block him consistently. Well, it wasn't a big strike, but that completion put them in really great range. What do we have now, 4th and inches?
Yeah, it's not more than a half a foot.
You know what I would do here?
You would always go for it.
I'm one of those guys.
Now a high kick, almost a pooch punt. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it, somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of relief right now. They begin the drive with Hill. And no room that time, getting it to about the 46. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
You know how we get focused at end of the half and into the game situations about how much time's on the board and, you know, what you need to do? Sometimes you don't have to worry about that. That's just smart football. You know, that kind of a lead, staying in bounds, it burns clock, even in a situation that we're not really focused on it.
4 yards on the pickup there as it'll leave him with a 3rd and about 4 more for 1st. Time running out here on the play clock. On 3rd down, here's Hill. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the 1st. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. On second down, Hill. Solid running on the carry, but still brought down just inside the 40. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be third down.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. Was that 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a first down. At 5 yards on the play there, as the drive will continue.
Yeah, another good run there. He's been such a big part of their success here this afternoon. And that last carry, it puts him over 100 yards now for the day.
Back now in Buffalo. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4. They keep on the ground with Elliott. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott with touchdown number 20 on the year. And the Raiders are pouring it on. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. This will be fielded at the 6. Gets around him. And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. Out come the Bills as we take a look at the playoff race in the AFC. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting. An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
Into the red zone, it's Rodgers. And Matthews over the middle with a grab. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. Hard to believe his first catch of the game defensively. They bottled him up. That's why they're well on their way to victory.
Put your best cover guy on him and then change the coverages behind him throughout the game. Brackets, double, zone, man, you name it. Make sure he gets a lot of angles.
They stopped after only a yard, taking it down to the 14. The Bills on third down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. Here's Rodgers to throw. And probably the wise decision there. No one open. He just throws it away. And that keeps the field goal on the table as it's 4th down. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game. And to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
And McManus able to put it through, and they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. Well, in the grand scheme of things, it's likely not going to matter much, but at least they get themselves 3 points closer to respectability.
And I don't know that they're going to feel a whole lot better about things because they've clearly been outplayed all game long. But, hey, no reason not to take the points when the opportunity presents itself.
So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And the hands team for the Raiders able to secure it. Fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all three still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. On third down, it's Hill. And he picks up the first before he's taken down at the 29. So it's Raider football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to bring this one down to right about the 20-yard line. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So up through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. Fresh set of downs here. To throw. They'll set up the screen to Elliott. And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. 7 yards there on the first down screen play.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
On 2nd down, Hill. So it'll be first down here after the run. Now Elliott. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. And for them, this train, it just keeps rolling, doesn't it? Well on their way to yet another victory.
Yeah, it's almost a runaway, isn't it? And you just wonder how anyone could stop this. They got full momentum going, full confidence going. But it's not just their own confidence that is leading them. It's the lack of confidence against their opponents now because they see them coming and think, we've got no shot to beat this team.
Is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be fielded at the 6. So quick on the spin.
Oh, he's spinning, man.
And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The Bills offense coming out, ready to take over. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in a game like this and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
Throwing now is Rodgers. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. The slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
Now Rodgers. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there. And this is dropped it incomplete. Well, there's a metaphor for how this one is gone. As time has run out on this ball game. A big off.